Welcome to All the Way Home with Home Free USA, where you will discover informative and enlightening tips on how you can buy and keep your home for life. Today we will talk about how to always have a home. And yes, that's something that you want to be able to do. You want to be able to keep your home. You want to be able to buy a home safely. And my friends, you certainly need to know what tips you should use to be in good place, credit-wise, mortgage-wise, and financially. Let's begin the process, and we invite you to get your pen and paper and take some notes. Robin, our topic today is how to always have a home. Is this possible? Is it really possible that a person can always have a home, especially with the kind of financial obstacles that we're seeing today?
You know, I definitely think that's a possibility. It takes planning, it takes budgeting, and it takes education and perseverance. The education part is really important, so that homeowners know the best products that are out there in the marketplace and that they know how to prevent fraud from happening. They have to be aware of fraudsters because that's a negative thing, but it is out there in the marketplace. So I think education and planning is very important.
So Robin, is the foreclosure issue, this kind of mortgage tsunami, is it as serious as you read about in the paper?
It's pretty serious at this time, and we probably haven't seen the end of it yet, but there are solutions for homeowners, and there's a lot that can be done to help homeowners come out of where they are and get back on their feet.
Well, that's a great thing. Now tell me, if I have a home and I have not, I just really cannot pay my mortgage, what is one thing that I need to do, or several things that I need to do?
The first thing the homeowner should do is call their lender, because their lender has the mortgage documents and has the power to be able to help that homeowner avoid foreclosure. However, many homeowners are embarrassed or they're in a denial stage and they don't realize that the lender doesn't want to just take the house away.
Yeah. So
in that case, they should call a housing counseling agency, such as Home Free USA, and there's a nationwide number that they can call, which is 888-995-HOPE. Okay, so call their lender, call a housing counseling agency.
When should one call the lender? If you find that you cannot pay your mortgage in month one, should we wait? Should we call then, or should we wait for a month or two and hope that things will get better?
Early intervention is the best. The borrower shouldn't wait until they're too far in the hole to be able to do any good. If a mortgage payment's $800 a month, it's much easier to help somebody get out of that problem than if the borrower is 4 payments down and they owe $3,200. It's really hard to come back for that. So early intervention is the best thing to do.
Lori, break it down for us. What is the subprime piece all about? What is a mortgage reset?
A mortgage reset is simply a loan that had started at a certain interest rate and now is going to a new interest rate. Put it in simple facts, you may have started at a 5% interest rate, and when you reset, you may now be at an 8% interest rate, which means your principal and interest now is going to be adjusted upward toward the new mortgage interest rate.
Okay, and this is happening with a lot of people today?
Well, what our industry is realizing is that there are some people who have been in those loans, and yes, they are challenged with what they need to do. I like to go back to your earlier questions on what a consumer should do. I think the consumer should be proactive. I often say it's what people don't know that they don't know that hurts them. I think Home Free USA and other counseling agencies are out there to help them, but let's take away the fear of the unknown. I say if a person knows that they've lost their job, that is the day that they need to call their lender. Great. Not when they get their first unemployment check, but the day they will notice that they were laid off. They quickly should do an assessment of what their finances are. And I'm sure most of us live according to our paycheck. And most of us had debt requirements according to that paycheck and what it can enable us to get. Therefore, if our paycheck has decreased substantially, our bills haven't. We need to be proactive, contact our lender, our servicer, contact counseling agencies that can help us navigate through the challenges that we're facing.
A lot of people are being hit with foreclosures now. Did they have any idea of what was going to happen, 3, 4, 5 years ago when they got these loans, or were they just overwhelmed and misinformed? I mean, what's the deal?
I think there's a couple of things. I think most products that were designed have been designed for a certain consumer. Not every product is designed for every consumer. Therefore, the consumer, again, must educate themselves to make sure they get the product for themselves. Let me give you a perfect example. I have a child of mine who bought a home about 3 years ago. First-time home buyer, first house she was going to buy. She was introduced to what we all call now the combo loans, the 80-20, the 80-10-10. Well, she was also told about a LIBOR, and she said, well, Mother, I don't even know what a LIBOR is, but I do know this. If I'm asked to pay interest only, then I'm never going to help create wealth, which is what home ownership is supposed to do, because all I'm doing is paying interest. To make a long story short, she knew just enough not to get into that product. That product was not designed for her. A first-time home buyer, she ended up getting a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, which is what she needed. I didn't want my child eating hot dogs and cheese, nor did I want to call on me to pay the mortgage.
I don't believe about that one.
There's one other thing about that too. Many homeowners take a lot of time to plan in becoming a homeowner. They fix their credit, they go to classes, they save their money, and then they go to the closing table and they close that loan, but they don't manage themselves well after that. They think once they've gotten into that house, that's it. And so they don't keep on budgeting like they were before they bought the house. And so they go out and spend a lot of money to furnish the house, and they think it's no holds barred after they get in the house. But what they need to do is to continue to manage their credit wisely and not overspend. Continue to save one payment as often as they can, stick it aside in savings so that when an emergency comes up, they have something to fall back on. Because let's face it, Visa can't take the house away. So when a person's having a problem making payments, they're underworking their job, they don't work as many hours as they used to, they have a hiccup in something that's happening to them financially, they have something to fall back on, and solid budgeting after buying the house is just as important as before.
I also think predictability. I think when a consumer goes to buy a home, there are 4 basic things they need to look at. What's the benefit to them? Is it affordable? The very first thing, can I really afford this payment? Secondly, are there any tax benefits and tax deductions around this? If I'm getting into a loan that has mortgage insurance, I need to be clear that it is cancelable, which means I will not have mortgage insurance for the duration of that loan. But also, that mortgage insurance is tax deductible. I like to say that there are some safe, smart ways for consumers to get in homes where they have some guarantees, and they also need to look at some of the programs that lenders are offering that helps protect them in the event that they lose their job. There are some programs out there now where if you were to lose your job loss insurance is provided.
Really?
Yes, I think people need to become aware of these things, and I think counseling groups are making sure they're giving that consumer that type of knowledge. But when you ask the question, what should a consumer look for? Consumers should look for affordability, predictability. Predictability is very important. We all know that when we get a mortgage, that our escrow is going to change, which means our taxes and insurance may change. But we can get a loan that stays constant for 15 or 30 years. Also, does this loan increase or decrease? Let's look at those types of things and what are the overall benefits to me, the consumer, and my family.
Speaking of benefits, I mean, when a person is shopping for a home and they're working with a realtor, we just sort of get so emotional about buying the home. We just think that it's got to be a real good benefit. When should a person, Robin, not buy?
When they have a gut feeling that it's not affordable for them. My experience out in the public in working with homeowners who are now delinquent is that they questioned the affordability initially when they were home buying. And when the loan originator said, don't worry, we'll get you in, is the point that was the break point for that homeowner.
We thank you so very much, and we're very pleased to have you with us on all the way home with Home Free USA. Please be with us as we continue, and remember to buy and keep your home for life. Thank you so much.